Good morning, madam. My name is Sherlock Holmes. Let me get you a cup of hot coffee. You seem very cold.
It is not fear which makes me shiver, it is terror.
Don't worry. We shall soon figure it out. I have no doubt. You came by train this morning, I see.
Oh, so you know me?
No, but I observed the second half of a return ticket in the palm of your left glove. You must have started early, and yet you had a good drive in a dog cart along heavy roads before you reached the station. There is no mystery, my dear madam. The left arm of your jacket is spattered with mud in no less than 7 places. The marks are perfectly fresh. There is no vehicle other than a dog cart which throws mud up in that way, and then only when you sit on the left-handed side of the drive.
I don't know how you did that, but you're perfectly correct. Anyways, I came here because I have a problem.
I am all attention, madam.
My name is Helen Stoner, and I'm living with my stepfather, who is the last survivor of one of the oldest Saxon families in England, the Roylots of Stoke Moran on the western border of Surrey.
Helen proceeded to tell Sherlock about her deceased mother, who left a considerable sum of money to her husband, Dr. Roylott. Helen and her twin sister were both entitled to an annual sum in the event of their marriage. Helen's sister was engaged 2 years ago, but she was murdered before she could get married. Her last words were the Speckled band. She came to see Sherlock because she started to hear similar whistling noises to the ones her sister heard days before her death. Sherlock decided they would need to stay at her mansion to further investigate. Suddenly, there was a momentary gleam of a light up in the direction of the ventilator, which vanished immediately, but was succeeded by a strong smell of burning oil and heated metal. They heard a noise in the ventilator. Holmes jumped up, lit a match, and hit the ventilator with his stick. "You see it, Watson? You see it?" Sherlock's face was deadly pale and filled with horror and loathing. A horrible cry came from the other side of the ventilator. Watson stood, staring at Holmes, and Holmes at Watson, until the last echoes of the scream had died away into the silence from which it rose. "It's all over now." They went to knock on Dr. Roylott's door, but no one answered. They opened the door, and a snake was wrapped around Dr. Roylott's face, his motionless, dead face. "The band! The speckled band! It is a swamp adler!"
Everybody, please welcome Detective Sherlock Holmes. It's an honor to have you on the show, Sherlock. Anyway.
Don't call me Cheryl.
Oh, of course, my apology. Anyways, it's an honor to have you on the show, Detective Holmes. We have a couple of questions for you regarding your recent investigation.
Ah, yes, the adventure of the speckled band. One of the more unusual cases, but who doesn't love a little bit of mystery?
Exactly, Detective. Well, we all read Watson's story on the case, but tell us, when did you first come up with the theory of Mrs. Stoner's case?
Well, you see, it's very important not to jump to conclusions in these situations until you're certain, which I always am. As a matter of fact, Helen almost led me to the wrong conclusion with her talk of this speckled band. If I remember correctly, at the end of the story, Watson wrote about how I told him how dangerous it always is to reason from insufficient data.
Please elaborate.
So when Helen told me about this speckled band, I didn't have enough information to know what this was supposed to represent. The most important part about receiving data on a crime is that the data has to be accurate, or else everything else that comes after the data is incorrect. But thankfully, when I got to the scene of the crime with my best friend inductive reasoning, I was able to figure out what actually happened.
It is quite impressive how you're so keen on making those observations, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, tell me something I don't know.
Anyways, what did you learn from this case? Is there anything you can tell our younger viewers at home?
Well, in every case I've solved, so all of them, the criminal always has one of these 3 motives: jealousy, desperation, or greed. Roylott had royalty in his DNA, and he struggled with gambling, and as Helen told us, he went to jail for beating his butler to death in a fit of anger. And with my flawless reasoning, I immediately knew he was up to something. People who kill other people because of their emotions have a different set of ethics than you. They value different things than us. For example, Roylott valued money and his own wealth over the lives of his 2 daughters.
Very interesting, Sherlock.
Don't call me Cheryl.
There's one more thing I'd like to ask you. Watson wrote that you told him that you came to an entirely erroneous conclusion, and, well, this is not something that we're used to hearing from you. Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Well, you see, Watson likes to exaggerate when he writes these stories. I never actually said I was wrong. I just mentioned how it was dangerous what could have happened had I misinterpreted the information, and that maybe I wasn't as right as I normally am.
Oh, of course. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today, guys.